Hi, Sunday school friends.
Hi.
Wow, it's been a long time since we have seen all your beautiful faces, but we're so glad to see you today. Guess what? We're going to talk about in our story today. Parker, do you have a guess? Food. How many of you like food? I like food. Parker, you like food? Yeah. Hey, Parker, what's your favorite food?
Macaroni.
Ooh, macaroni and cheese. I bet that's some of your favorite foods too. What are your favorite foods?
And I like a watermelon and cantaloupe and biscotti.
Gotta get a little bit of the healthy food in there. I know my favorite food, macaroni and cheese, of course, and pizza. Justin, what's your favorite food?
I would probably say General's chicken.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
So today's story, we get to hear about some people who are going to eat food together. Woo!
All right. So this is our story, and it's called Jesus Feeds a Big Crowd, a very special day. So it starts off. My name is Peter. I live just outside of a small village called Bethsaida. I can never pronounce it properly, so I always split it into Beth-say-der so that I remember it better. Can you say that, Parker?
Beth-say-der.
There you go. I am 12 years old, and I come from a very big family. I have 3 brothers and 5 sisters. I'm the oldest.
3
There's
brothers,
Peter.
5 sisters? Wow,
Yeah.
that's a big family.
We live near to the Sea of Galilee. My dad is a fisherman. My mom stays at home, but she makes and sells wicker baskets for the fishermen. Now that I am older, I spend most of my days and some of my nights helping Dad on his fishing boat. Get the sail up, Peter. Let's go. All right, I got it, Dad. It's hard work being a fisherman. I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we sleep during the day and go out fishing at night. It is very exciting, though. I get tired at times, but I love helping my dad. I often tease my younger brothers because they can't help. Are there any times, Parker, that you help Mom and I do things, but you like doing it? It's kind of fun to help us do it?
Put away the silverware so then I can get quarters. I like doing my chores.
Oh, doing chores. So
How do
maybe
you-
some of you do chores at home, kind of like he has to do chores helping his dad fish. Now, my sisters spend the days helping my mom with cleaning and cooking. 2 of them have recently started to help her make fishing baskets as well. My sisters are very busy most of the time, as we get very hungry. You see one sister saying, "This one's finished, Mom." "Okay, good. Go put it with the other ones."
Be a lot of hard work.
They've made a lot of baskets, haven't they? I want to tell you about a day that has been the talk of the village for a very long time. It is the day a man called Jesus came to visit. We had heard a lot about Jesus. It seemed that he was at the center of talking all over the villages. Here's a picture of Jesus riding down the road saying, "We're going to stop here." All right, Parker, so far, what would you say this story has been about?
That one guy.
Now, one guy. Let's do a quick check. Can you remember, what is that one guy's name? Think.
I can't remember.
Can't remember? Do you remember?
Did it start with a P?
It did.
An E?
Oh,
did.
Oh, I know. Peter.
Peter! Peter is a 12-year-old boy who's helping his dad be a fisherman. And that's what we've heard about so far.
And baskets.
All right. And his sisters make baskets, yeah.
So we know that Jesus is coming to town. So let's see what happens. My Uncle Joe, who lives in Canada, said that Jesus had turned water into wine. We all found this difficult to believe. My dad said it was nonsense and that Jesus was probably crazy, telling people to love their enemies and do good to people who are horrible to them, even tax collectors. We all hate tax collectors because they steal our hard-earned money. At least that's what Dad says. See, he's talking to his dad. His dad's like, no way, I don't like that guy. Yeah, but his uncle's there said, oh, I don't know, maybe. Maybe he's a pretty cool guy. It wasn't very easy to talk about Jesus when my dad was around because he'd get angry. I couldn't help being interested, though. I loved hearing about all the wonderful things that he was doing. Little did I know that I was soon to be part of a miracle that would change my life completely.
Now what does Dad say?
Oh, that one it says, it's nonsense, Peter, don't listen. And then Peter says, Uncle Joe says it's true. I believe him. That's my Peter voice. So he said that a miracle is going to happen. I don't want you to say it out loud, but in your head, can you predict what that miracle might be? So remember, don't say it out loud. Just in your head. Take a moment and think. All right, let's keep going and see if your guess is right.
I can't remember.
One day, I couldn't go fishing with my dad because the sea was too rough. He said if anything happened to him, I would need to look after my mom and my brothers and sisters. Remember, he has a whole lot of them, doesn't he? I was bored and I didn't want to do anything around the house. My mom eventually sent me into the village to buy some bread. 5 loaves, Peter. Okay, Mom. I enjoyed the walk into the village, up and down the hills. But when I looked out to sea, I could see it was swelling up with gigantic waves. I thought of my dad out there on his fishing boat, and I hoped he'd be all right. I felt a bit frightened for him, so I decided to run. Please, God, keep my dad safe. When I got into the village, it was empty. I bought the 5 barley loaves of bread my mom had sent me for. The man gave me 2 small fish in case I got hungry on the way home. Just as I was leaving the village, a market trader called, Hey, Peter, did you know the prophet Jesus is here? Everyone has left the village and gone up to the mountain to hear him. He says, hey, get up that mountain. Oh, really? Okay, wow. All right, so interesting. At this point, we're just about ready to go up to the mountain where Jesus is. But before we do, why don't you think about, has anything surprised you so far in this story? So let's take a moment and think about that. Has anything surprised you so far?
Yeah.
Oh, what surprised you, Parker?
That he has so many brothers and sisters.
Yeah. We don't think about the disciples having their own families, right? And so he had brothers and sisters like a lot of you have brothers and sisters. I know it surprised me that his dad was so angry and that his dad didn't believe in Jesus. That was really surprising to me. What about you, Justin?
That's actually what I was going to say. The fact that, I'm used to all the stories talking about Jesus being good and Jesus being loved and that Jesus does all these miracles, but to hear that people thought Jesus was a fake and they didn't like him, they didn't want him around is kind of surprising to me. That's not what I expected from the story.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of our lessons after Easter when we talked about that.
Oh, yeah. My heart missed a beat. Jesus? Here? Just outside our village? I ran all the way to the mountain. When I got there, I saw crowds and crowds of people. There must have been about 5,000 of them. They were all listening to Jesus. I pushed and prodded my way forwards, crawling under people's legs, trying to get near to the man I had heard so much about. There's Peter, crawling through the crowd, trying to make his way in.
What does he say?
He said, oh, there he is.
It'd be hard to crawl through all those people.
When I got closer, I could see that some of his followers were talking amongst themselves. They were saying that there was no way Jesus could feed all of these people. I really wanted to do something for him, and so I pulled at the cloak of one of the men. Here's Peter. He's saying, hey, mister. The man is saying, he can't feed this lot. There are too many. We should send them home. He turned to me, and I told him he could have my shopping, even my 2 fishes. Just at that moment, Jesus looked at me, and as he looked, I felt my knees go weak and my heart race. I had never seen such love and peace shining out of a man's eyes. It seemed to cover me and surround me. It was like we were the only 2 people there. So Peter is there offering up his shopping, offering up his things. He's giving what little he has. Jesus looked at his disciples. One of them, called Andrew, said, "This lad's got 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes, but they will never feed this crowd." Jesus looked at me again and smiled knowingly. It was as though we had a secret. He seemed to see inside my heart and was pleased that I was willing to share. I knew he could do this. So there's Andrew talking to Jesus about the bread and the 2 fish. Everything happened so quickly. Jesus told his disciples to ask everyone to sit down. He took the loaves and looked up to heaven and gave thanks. Then he gave the bread to the disciples, and they gave some to the people. The same thing happened with the fish, and then everybody was laughing and enjoying their food. It was like an enormous picnic. There's them handing out the food. They're saying, "How is he doing this?"
Again,
Yeah.
we're gonna eat out on the table tonight.
Ooh, so we're going to have like a picnic tonight like they are, aren't they?
When the people had finished eating, the disciples were even able to gather what was left and filled 12 baskets. They gave me some to take home so that my family wouldn't go without. I noticed Jesus walking away. I would never forget that look of love and peace. I would be one of his followers forever and ever. I believed in Jesus. And there's Peter walking away, taking home the things that he shared. So Parker, how do you think this story could help us be better in our lives when working with friends at Sunday school or preschool, or when we go to kindergarten pretty soon?
When you go back to school.
Yeah. How can this story help us be better in our lives?
How people have more food.
That's a great idea. Did you know that in Polk City, we have an awesome thing called the Comet Cupboard, where people can give food and other people who need it, then they get to eat that food. Yeah, so that could be something that maybe you and your families could talk about this week of how could we help people who are less fortunate, maybe with food, since Peter gave food, right? Yeah. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining us. Remember this week, try to think about how could you help other people who are in need. And of course, try to make some yummy good food as well for yourselves this week, okay? All right, we loved seeing you all. Bye, friends.
Bye.